You are standing in the middle of a crowded room, holding a drink, smiling and nodding, but deep down, you are drowning. You aren't just hearing the conversation in front of you, you are physically feeling the anxiety of the stranger 3 feet away and the huge, silent anger of the couple arguing in the corner. It's a sensory assault that leaves you drained before the night even begins. They tell you to just toughen up or stop being so sensitive, but your nervous system tells a different story. This is the daily reality for empaths. The world seems louder, heavier, and more demanding because you are processing emotional data that everyone else ignores. But here is the question that changes everything. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and asked, "Am I living my own life, or am I just reacting to everyone else's emotions?" We live in a system designed to keep you distracted. From the second you wake up, the world demands your attention. You have social obligations, work boundaries, and family expectations. For a sensitive individual, these aren't just tasks, they are emotional burdens. You feel the disappointment of others as a crushing physical weight, so you answer yes when you desperately want to say no. You agree to organize the office party or listen to a friend vent for 3 hours, not because you have the time, but because the alternative, guilt, feels unbearable. But here is the hard truth. Every time you prioritize someone else's comfort over your own peace, you are teaching your subconscious that you don't matter. You are essentially training your inner self to stay quiet and sit in the shadows. Think about that gut feeling you get when you walk into a house that looks perfect on paper, but something about the vibe feels stale and heavy. Or that split second when you meet a person who is nice and polite, but every alarm bell in your body starts ringing. That isn't fear. That is your intuition, your superpower, trying to save you. But how often do you ignore it because you hate being difficult? Choosing yourself isn't about becoming a narcissist. It's about basic survival. You cannot be the emotional anchor for everyone in your life if your own ship is sinking. This brings us to the concept of the shadow. Psychologists describe the shadow as the part of us we hide because we think it's unacceptable. For sensitive souls, the shadow is often the part of you that has boundaries. It is the part of you that wants to say, "I don't have space for your drama today." You suppress this side because you are terrified of being seen as mean or selfish. But real transformation happens when you stop fighting these feelings and start listening to them. Imagine a smartphone battery. When it hits 1%, the phone shuts down to protect its core functions. It gives no apology, it just turns off. You need to treat your energy with the same respect. When you integrate your shadow, when you admit that you have limits and that it's okay to protect them, you unlock a level of peace that is unshakable. You gain the ability to disappoint others without punishing yourself for it. So, how do you actually do this? It starts with radical honesty. Assess the relationships in your life right now. We all have that one friend who uses us like an emotional rehab center. They dump their chaos on you, leave feeling lighter, and you stay depleted with zero energy. These people aren't necessarily bad, but they are mirrors. They reflect the boundaries you have failed to set. If you keep leaving the door unlocked, you can't be surprised when people keep walking in and muddying your carpet. When you finally start choosing yourself, the dynamic shifts. It is almost physics. You stop tolerating the energy drain, and suddenly the interaction changes. It's not magic, it's a lack of supply. You are no longer feeding the dysfunction. This leads to what many call synchronicity. It is that weird moment when you finally quit the job that was crushing your soul, and 3 days later you meet someone who offers you an opportunity you couldn't have even dreamed of. When you stop tuning your radio to the static of other people's expectations, you finally start broadcasting your own signal. The universe tends to respond to clarity. When you are clear about who you are, the world stops offering you things that don't fit. Of course, the resistance will come. The second you start saying no, people will push back. They will claim you've changed. They might even accuse you of being cold. This is the test. It is the friction between the old version of you, the one who was a doormat, and the new version of you who has self-respect. Think of it like gravity. Leaving orbit takes a huge amount of thrust, and it feels shaky and uncomfortable at first. But once you break through that layer, you float. You gain a perspective that was impossible from the ground. You might be holding on to things right now out of fear. A relationship that expired 2 years ago, a career path that your parents wanted for you, or a social circle that makes you feel lonely even when you are with them. You stick to them because the unknown feels scary. But better the devil you know is a lie we tell ourselves to avoid the work of growing. The most powerful thing you can do is realize that your empathy is a gift. But it is a gift that requires a protective container. You are not responsible for managing the emotional climate of every room you walk into. You are allowed to watch the storm without standing in the rain. When you start living this way, you don't just feel better, you become a lighthouse. People are drawn to authenticity. When they see you honoring your own needs, setting firm boundaries, and trusting your intuition, it gives them permission to do the same. You stop attracting projects and start attracting equals. You find the people who don't need you to fix them, but just want to walk beside you. So, here is the challenge. Stop looking for permission to be happy. Stop waiting for the world to stop making noise. It won't. The only silence you will find is the one you create by closing the door on what no longer serves you. Ask yourself this right now. What is one thing I am doing purely to avoid letting someone else down? Identify it, then drop it. It will be terrifying for about 5 minutes, and after that, it will be the most liberating breath you have ever taken. The world needs you, but it needs the real you, not the exhausted, empty version trying to please everyone. It is time to make the choice. Choose yourself.